Oh, when the settlers first arrived in Jamestown in May of 1607, they were hopeful and excited about starting a new life in America. The Virginia Company had promised them great wealth, fertile land, and new opportunities. But when they landed, they quickly realized that Jamestown was not the paradise they expected. The colony was surrounded by swampy land filled with mosquitoes, and the water from the James River was salty and unsafe to drink. Many of the colonists were gentlemen who didn't know how to hunt, fish, or grow crops. They depended on supplies from England and trade with the Powhatan tribe, but those supplies often came late or ran out. As time went on, food shortages, illness, and environmental challenges began to destroy their hopes. The dream of success soon turned into a desperate fight to survive.
When the Jamestown settlers first arrived, they had high hopes of finding gold and wealth rather than growing crops or hunting for food. Because of this, they didn't plant enough to feed everyone. The area around Jamestown also made farming difficult. But of course, there's always downsides, such as the soil being poor, and most of the colonists lacked experience in agriculture, and that was the downside. So as time went on, the food supplies ran out, and ships from England uh, brought fewer supplies than expected. Many colonists began to starve, especially during the harsh winters of 1609 to 1610, known as the Starving Time. Became Hunger became one of the main reasons why so many settlers died in the early years of Jamestown.
One major event that showed how deadly the Jamestown environment was happened during the hot summers, when drought caused the river water to turn salty. The colonists had no clean water to drink, and many became sick from the dehydration and contaminated water. The drought also destroyed crops and made food even harder to find. Mosquitoes bred in the swampy areas around the fort, spreading diseases that made the settlers even weaker. Because of these environmental problems, death rates in Jamestown rose quickly, showing just how harsh.
Disease was one of the biggest killers in early Jamestown. The swampy land around the settlement was filled with mosquitoes that carried deadly illnesses like malaria. The colonists also drank dirty river water that was mixed with the salt in waves, which led to stomach sickness and deadly fevers. Because many settlers were weak from hunger and they overworked a lot, their bodies couldn't fight off these diseases. With so many people living close together and no doctors or clean medical supplies, sickness spread quickly through the colony. Disease wiped out entire groups of settlers and became one of the main reasons why so many people died in Jamestown. Now I'm going to do my conclusion. In conclusion, many of the yearly Jamestown colonists lost their lives because of the famine, disease, and harsh environments. The settlers came to a new world, dreaming of wealth and success, but they were not ready for the challenge that awaited them. Hunger, sickness, and difficult living conditions made the survival nearly impossible. Although Jamestown eventually became a lasting English settlement, Its early years were filled with hardship and tragedy. The story of Jamestown reminds us of how determinational and the endurance that helped shape the beginnings of America, even in the face of death and disaster.